We're now joined by Joanne Calderwood, 2-0 now since moving back to flyweight. And Joanne, my first question for you, since you've moved to Syndicate MMA, I know things have gone well for you in the Octagon, but what's been the biggest area of growth for you under Coach John Wood and the boys?
The biggest part is that I've evolved as a MMA fighter. I feel like all my kind of disciplines were very good before I moved there, but I just couldn't find the glue to put it all together. So I feel like at Syndicate and with Coach John Wood, he is very good. He looks at it as an MMA as a whole. So just being able to put my jiu-jitsu into more scramble positions and using my wrestling as well as my footwork and my stand-up. So it's all came together, and that's kind of what I was looking for, to put my game all together and be a better mixed martial artist.
Okay, be honest. How does Vegas compare to Kilmarnock?
It's completely different. And like obviously nothing will compare to home, but I just feel like here I love the sun, and I love going outside and not having to worry about, oh, is it going to rain, or should I pack my jumper or my jacket. So I just love going outside, and even when it is a little bit cooler, I'm like still got my vest on and going outside without a jacket. So that part I love.
And it's an interesting story. I know bits and pieces of it, so if you could fill in the entire picture. How did you first get introduced to martial arts?
I first got introduced by accident. I was swimming competitively, and I was kind of like getting a little bit bored with that, and they started doing land training, so I was kind of drawn to that. And at that time, my mom asked me to go with my little brother to a Muay Thai class, and I went there and I was just loved it. Like I got the bug straight away, and yeah, not looked back since then.
And a fun fact, I don't know if a lot of people realize this, you were actually involved in the first UFC women's flyweight fight in promotion history when you knocked out Valérie Letourneau in Ottawa. How does fight week for you compare at 125 to back when you were fighting at 115?
It's night and day. It's so much better. Like I now enjoy training, like the enjoyment and the love that I had before I had to make it this big ordeal of making weight. And yeah, so now I just have that love for the sport back, and I don't have to spend all my time. Like I used to have to spend like 10 weeks of the camp worrying about getting my weight down and doing extra cardio, and that takes a toll on your body and your mentality. So it's just, yeah, it's like I said, night and day. And I'm so grateful that the UFC introduced flyweight division, and now that I'm at the Performance Institute at the UFC, they help me a lot with my nutrition and getting me to make weight now more safely, and my lifestyle has completely changed.
And it shows in your results, in your career. You're 4-0 at flyweight, 3-0 in the UFC at flyweight. How do you feel in the Octagon in the fight itself at 125?
Feel so much stronger, more energy. Just, I feel like, so the big part in this game is your mentality. And if you've been like, for what I used to have to do, like I used to have to train before pro practice and then train afterwards. So in pro practice, you're not really concentrating. And I feel like my focus was on the weight cut. So now I feel like I'm getting better as a fighter. Obviously, that love is there. And it just shows when I go to fight now, that and the whole fight week is just, I'm not stressed about making weight now. And yeah, it's so much better. And I feel in my performance that you can tell that this is a division for me.
Well, your next opponent, UFC 238 in Chicago, you face Katlyn Chookagian. I'm going to ask you to play analyst for us just a bit. How does she compare to other opponents you faced?
She doesn't compare. She's a completely different fighter to. I probably fought a few girls in Muay Thai like her, but I feel like she is a completely different challenge that I haven't faced in MMA yet. She doesn't really engage much. She uses a lot of footwork to be on the outside of the cage, and she's kind of like a counter point scorer. Not really the kind of fighter I like to watch.
Well, her reach is up there among the longer opponents that you face, probably comparable with Le Tourneau herself, who we mentioned earlier. How do you neutralize the reach advantage that she'll have in Chicago?
Yeah, she's a little bit taller, but I don't feel like she uses her range that well. And my strength is through Muay Thai is for using my range, and I feel like I'll probably look like the longer fighter in this fight.
So for you, what do you think is the better recipe to get the desirable result? Is it the fight being on the feet more, or would it be if it goes to the ground? I know her jiu-jitsu credentials are up there.
Yeah, we've covered all areas. Like I said, like before, I feel very confident now that I have my MMA game as a whole, not just jiu-jitsu, not just wrestling, not just my Muay Thai. So I feel confident going in there, and yeah, we don't know what's going to happen when we get in there. I feel like for me as a fighter, I do best when I just react, and I'm more creative, and my potential comes out more when I just go in there and react. So it depends if she comes in and she's done what our last two fights have been, she'll be on the back foot for the first two rounds and then maybe pressure forward in the first. But I'm just going to go in there and see what she brings and react and believe in my game and my skills.
You're on the same card as the champion in your weight class, Valentina Shevchenko. She faces Jessica Ai in the co-main event. What conversations have been had as far as whether or not your fight against Katlyn is a #1 contender fight?
There's not been very much talk, just between me and my coach. I'm like, yeah, I'm going in there and I'm going to make a statement so that I can be the one in the Octagon at the end to call out whoever wins that night. So this is my destiny, and this is what I want to do, and I want to be champion of this division. And I'm not here to wait and see what happens and stuff. I'm here to get that championship belt, and I just feel and believe that this is the time now.
We've seen a handful of Scottish men in the UFC, but you're something of a pioneer in terms of Scottish women in the Octagon. What do you think it'll take for more of your countrywomen to be fighting in the promotion at the top of the sport?
Maybe not fighting at the pubs and taking it to some gyms, boxing gyms or Muay Thai gyms and MMA gyms. But I don't know, maybe hopefully when I feel like my reputation, and every day there's a new person that's coming onto my social media, so I can only hope that one day when I do win the championship belt, that more people know that it's possible and that they can do it, and hopefully the next generation I inspire someone and there is more people that come through.
Joanne Calderwood, the pride of Kilmarnock and one of the more objectively fun fighters to watch in the UFC. Thank you so much for the time, and best of luck in Chicago.
Thank you so much. Hope to see you there.